Good evening, Bronco fans. Hey, we know it's a somber night, rough day at the stadium today. We'll break down the game here in a little bit. If anybody's out there, go ahead and shoot us your comments, what you thought about the game. I need to first make an apology to my buddy Dave Hewlin with Cajun 180 Seasonings for going out there and saying that last week I told him the Broncos would beat the Saints. And, and that was before all this quarterback stuff happened. So, I talked some mad trash to him, and so I owe him an apology. Saints came and they leave with the victory. So, to you, my friend Dave, I offer my sincere apology to you. And you know what? We'll be back at it next week, the Broncos as well. So, all right, Matt, let's dive right into the game.
I think that's kind of the feeling I think all of us as Bronco fans have right now is just pretty meh. You got to give them credit. They went out, tried their hardest. Offensively, what more could you really expect? 12 hours prepare for a game is unrealistic. In the press conference, Hinton said that he memorized 30 plays. That's a lot for 12 hours. So, I give him credit. He admitted he wasn't ready for the game, the speed of the game. So, we can't blame Hinton for this. The defensive effort was phenomenal. Eventually they tired out. You can't, time of possession was extremely flipped in favor of the Saints. It was kind of a garbage game.
Yeah.
They were going to go out there, see if a miracle could happen. I think they knew it wasn't going to happen. It was very unlikely. But it's just meh. That's how I feel. How are you feeling, Dave?
Right. And that's how I feel. I think we all know on the pregame show, we all picked the Saints to win this thing. It's just an insurmountable task. You bring a guy who hasn't played quarterback since 2017, and that was at the collegiate level. A month ago he's a salesman. And then he gets signed to the Broncos as a practice squad wide receiver. And then yesterday he gets a phone call and says, "Hey, guess what? You're our quarterback tomorrow." At first he probably thought, "Gee whiz, who's pulling the early April Fool's joke on me or something?" But unrealistic. Yeah, I condemn him. Commend him. Not condemn him. Commend him.
Dang.
The guy went out. He memorized as much as he could, 30 plays out of the playbook. That's a lot. And we did what we could. And I like this comment right here. One positive from today is the defense looked so good for a while, and they did. And it's like you talked about, Matt, the disparity in possession time, and the defense was just left there out on the field. They just eventually wore down. And I think with Drew Lock, it probably is a different game, where we'd be able to move the ball and things like that, hopefully, but we were pretty much one-dimensional today. And the Saints knew what we were going to do. And, on that first opening series, we sort of shocked them a little bit and came out and, gained probably about 20, 25 yards, And then after that, the Saints adjusted, and we really had a tough time moving the ball from that point on. And it's like you said earlier, Hinton was just, he had a mental clock, 1, 2, 3, throw the ball,
Yeah.
And I don't know if that comes from the system he played in college, that's the way it was, 1, 2, 3, and get rid of the ball, so who knows? But I give the guy all the credit in the world. And I give the team all the credit in the world. Those guys went out there, they fought, they busted their butt, So I think through 2.5 quarters, we held it. Even though it was 17-0 at halftime, it really didn't feel that out of control,
No, it didn't. And like I said, both those touchdowns came on bad, turnovers or whatever. the field position was flipped. It was a short field, I think, for both first half touchdowns. I mean, in reality, the defense was the highlight. I mean, they implemented the game plan that we talked about in the pregame and on Wednesday, that interior pressure. They succeeded in that. They were stunning at the D line. They did a good job of keeping Taysom Hill in the pocket for the most part, except for on the power runs. But I mean, that's difficult.
Yeah, when they got down into the red zone and those runs, it was a little difficult. He had 10 carries for 44 yards today, so nothing spectacular on his part. I mean, they ended up with 229 yards rushing today, but a lot of that came at the end. When our defense was they were beat. They weren't stopping.
Yeah, they had to stop provide. Yeah, they backed off the scheme that they were running, just because I mean, with the time of possession flipped and that much pressure that they were trying to keep on Hill. I mean, it's exhausting. They had to lay off and drop into more of a zone. The corners and secondary was getting exhausted, having to try to play man that entire time. And then once we went up into that more of that zone blitz scheme, that run blitz scheme, which we're not very good at, that's when we seen Murray just start to like pound the hole and tear us up. I think 2 touchdowns over 15 yards or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just exhaustion. I mean. It was if Drew Lock would have been here, the game would have been different. Is it a win? I can't say confidently that it would be.
Right. No.
I mean, the top 6, their top 3 defense. Drew Lock, same thing. I mean, has issues with footwork. Doesn't trust his pocket. Similar to Hinton, surprisingly. I mean, a way better quarterback for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it'd be a win, but it would be closer. It probably would be more.
It definitely would have, and I think our defense wouldn't have been as tired, and they probably would have been able to make some plays. So who knows at that point? Malik Reed, has become a household name for us with Vaughn out, and I agree. And we've talked about this before. I've been pretty adamant on my stance of, what? Hey, I think with the way Malik Reed is playing, we could probably let Vaughn walk, but that's something that we can talk about later. AJ's doing a great job. I think our linebacker core, as a whole, is doing a pretty stand-up job. Josie Jewell has improved this year, so I just think we're playing a lot better as a unit. And I think a lot of people were upset when they let Todd Davis go, and I was actually happy when they let Todd Davis go, because one of Todd Davis's biggest issues was, coverage issues. And so I'm glad he's gone, and I think the unit is better because of it, Well, who's this? I don't know who this is. So if they want to shout their name out, because
whomever you are, if you're interested in joining the Rocky Mountain Sports team, we're always looking to expand. We got a good set a good amount of writers, content producers. We're always looking to add to the talent team. So whomever you are, give us a shout out, reach out to me, PM, or reach out to the group. And then we'll talk business and see if you're a good fit for the team for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And we are talking about doing a little weekly contest maybe, and maybe we'll kick it off next week with the Kansas City Chiefs weekend, but we're thinking about maybe selecting, a follower a week who wants to come on and spend a segment like 15 minutes on the air with us and give their input. So reach out to Matt, like I said, and we can go from there. So, but yeah, shoot us your name and let us know. We can talk more about it. But I don't want to beat this, and you and I talked about this afterwards, Matt. There's no way. There's no way to, no reason to sit here and beat this dead horse. It is what it is. And
we're going to talk more about it probably on Wednesday after we figure out what exactly is going to happen, what kind of reprimands the Broncos are going to face once the NFL, figures out what they're going to do to punish them, whether it's monetary, draft picks, both. The other potential pickle is, what if Drew Lock or one of the other quarterbacks tests positive? Is that going to set everything up for another potential holdout for him? Who knows? We have so much stuff that's going to kind of come to the light over the next couple of days. So I really don't need to, we talked about why this happened. I don't think we need to revisit it. If someone has any questions, check out Adam Schefter's tweet. He posted why. It's just kind of where it's at right now.
Yeah, it is what it is, and and getting angry at people and upset at people and things like that. There's no reason. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all a game. We do this for fun. It's not like you and I are out here getting paid for this. It's just something we love to do. We like the
Hey,
Broncos, and
anybody want to throw me a check? I'll take it gladly. Hey,
so
anybody out there?
yeah. So, but I mean, yeah, we report, the facts that we have, and that's the way we want to work around here. So, and we're not going to get mad at somebody because they have a different opinion than us. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and
Yeah,
that's the way it is. And that's the nice thing, and that's the way we want our group on Facebook to run. Is we have unfiltered opinions on there for a
that's the
reason.
motto.
We are not going to censor anybody. There's only a few keywords that will get you thrown off our group, and I'm sure everybody can guess what they are, and that's in our group policies, as far as bullying and things like that. But other than that, you come there, you say what you want. If you want to come in there and say John Elway's garbage,
Some of
you
us
know,
might agree with you.
right. Some might. So, I mean, but we have to be able to take it both ways, and there really is no sense in getting mad at somebody to the point where you kick them out of a group or something like that because they don't have the same opinion as you. So, what was our yards per catch or
No,
carry?
it's yards per carry. So Freeman had about 6.3 here. So Freeman had 8 carries, 50 yards, average 6.3. Gordon had 12 attempts, 31 yards, averaging 2.6. Lindsey 9 for 20, 2.2 was his average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a team, we had 33 carries, 100 yards for so a 3 yards per carry.
It was a rough day.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, we tried the reverses, and they just developed way too fast in the back, or too deep in the backfield, and the Saints just sniffed them out. And both of those ended up as
Yeah, I mean
as
it was one
losses.
dimensional. It was one
So
dimensional. Like we said at halftime, it was a one dimensional offense. We tried to be innovative with some like wildcat stuff, but I mean that stuff takes practice and repetition, and unfortunately they didn't have that. I mean, and the wildcat system's kind of what is outdated in a sense, and Hinton ran that weird kind of like wing RPO. I don't even know what the formation's called. It's out of my wheelhouse
right,
over there in Wake Forest, and it was like a slow moving RPO. So I mean his internal clock, I mean, compared to what he was used to, compared to what was getting thrown at him today, it just didn't compare. I mean, like I said earlier in this pod, in this stream right here, it's kind of a garbage game. The fearless leader Fangio throwing quarterbacks under the bus. I mean, I agree with Fangio. He should throw his quarterbacks under the bus. And I don't. That's not exactly the right way to word that. Let me rephrase. So I mean, he should be upset with his players. They need to be held accountable. I mean, it's a mandate across the league. So I understand his
yeah,
frustrations. He also said he was frustrated with the NFL, and I get that too. I mean, I think us as fans were kind of frustrated with both. But like we said, let's not beat into it too much. We'll focus it on Wednesday once we know more of what's going to happen.
right. No, I agree. So no sense in just beating this thing together all night long. So Kansas City coming up next on the road. Tough place to play. December. Does it look any? Is there any glimmer of hope on the horizon for the Broncos? I guess the remainder of the season. You look at the schedule, and is there even a shot at a win anymore?
I mean, it's the NFL. You never know what's really going to happen. As we look at the remainder of the schedule, we got Chiefs, Panthers, Bills, Chargers, Raiders. I mean, you look at the Panthers and Chargers are probably the most realistic options. I mean, the Chargers are the Chargers. We see what happens. They get ahead early and they find a way to blow it. It just seems to be a curse for them. Panthers are kind of learning how to gel together still. They ended
Right.
up, I think they lost today. Um, Chiefs, I mean, I can't. Is it 10 or 11 consecutive losses now? It's something
It
ridiculous.
depends. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, it looks grim for us. I mean, but I mean, at the same time, you never know. As for like, if some fans out there like trying to say, "Oh yeah, this is a fringe playoff team," I hate to break it to you, we're not. We just don't have the right pieces yet. I mean, I don't think we're far off. I think there's some tweaks we have to make. I mean, player personnel, we've seen improvement there. But schematics were outdated. Um, and I think Vic is a little overwhelmed with his head coach responsibilities. He's not a very good. He doesn't delegate. He said it himself. He wants to hold everything to his own and dot every I and cross every T. So I think over the offseason, I don't think we're gonna like. This isn't me saying, oh no, we got to fire everybody.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that's going on. I mean, we'll save my opinion for once we get closer to the offseason, but we're growing. We're young. Growing pains are expected, but we should be playing better. There's no excuses to why we're playing. I mean, aside from today, of course, why we're playing so poorly. We have a pretty solid defense. Drew Lock should be playing better by now. I mean,
and today's an anomaly, and you got to throw it out. I don't think today. The only thing you take out of today and maybe factor into your equation at the end of the season is what really happened. Where was the leadership with both the coaches and the players and everything else? But other than that, this is an anomaly game, and you can't really use this when you're judging people. So no fault on Hinton. He held the ball way too long on those RPO plays, and I saw there was some confusion at times, and the guys didn't even get a chance to practice together. There was one play where he stuck the ball in there, and I believe it was with Royce Freeman. And I mean, Royce was already starting to make his cut towards the line, and Hinton pulled it back out. So if we can't get any of our QBs for next week, let's say some of these guys, test positive. What is the plan for next week? Anybody out there you can think of, Matt, that, is, I mean,
I know what a lot of Bronco fans want me to say, and I don't think that's a reality. Kaepernick's not an option. I've seen that thrown around on like many groups.
I've seen that too.
I just don't think I don't think it's possible. I don't think he'd want to come here under the circumstance, knowing that it's only like an NBA for a game or two. I mean, I don't think that he feels that that's really worth it in a sense. Unfortunately, the quarterbacks that are familiar with our system, Brandon Allen, he's starting for the Cincinnati Bengals because of the Burrow injury.
Right.
Keenum, who's familiar with the system, he's the backup out in Cleveland. I mean, so the options are pretty limited for who knows our system.
Yeah.
I mean, we could see Pat Shermer try to dive into the family business and sign his son Kyle. I mean, that's a reach, but I mean, he knows the system. He knows.
Right.
He's his dad's system. Like, he grew up with it.
Right.
So I mean, I don't think that would be successful because Kyle's not that great of a quarterback.
Right.
It's real. I mean, we could look around and see if we could snap somebody off of somebody's practice squad. But I mean, at the same time, it would have to be literally tomorrow if they wanted to play, because they have to do the 6-day quarantine or whatever before they can start practice. I mean, and that wouldn't even help us out really for next week. So
I know there's a protocol they have to go through if you pick somebody up, and I'm not sure the exact number of days, but I know they have to have 2 consecutive negative tests. I think on back-to-back days. So who knows? I mean, and this is just another management blunder as to why you have all 4 of your quarterbacks in a room at one time.
Yeah, I don't grasp it.
So I don't either. I mean, Blake Bortles should have been living in Cheyenne or something like that, far away,
Yeah, that's how majority of the NFL teams are doing it with the quarterbacks that are signed to their practice squad. So Philadelphia is like the best one I can think of. So they have 4 quarterbacks similar to us. They have 2 on the active, 3 on the active roster. No, I take that back. They have 2 on the active roster. One's on IR, I believe, because I don't remember what happened. And then they have what's his name? Luke McCown. He's literally on their practice squad, but he does not go to practice at all. He literally sits at home. They're paying him a practice squad salary to sit at home and watch the games, watch film. He does like one-on-one. I mean, but Luke McCown's like been in the league for like 17 years or something crazy. Career-long backup. I mean, he was successful for them last season when he went in. He won him a game, but that's how Blake Bortles should have been used. He's a several-year vet. Is he a great quarterback? No, but he didn't need to be at practice every day until his number was called up. This would have been a
And
perfect reason to
yeah,
why he needs to sit at home. So
today would have been the perfect reason and the perfect opportunity to bring him in, but instead you have to pull a wide receiver off of your practice squad to do this. So,
oh, someone's gonna ask my favorite question here. This gets me going. This is my let's
well,
work it.
I'm gonna answer the second half of that question, and he absolutely does not get more time than that. You know, um, and we'll dive into this a lot more as we get
Let me go
closer to the
along.
off season. So, what's that, Matt?
No, I see. Yeah, we're gonna have plenty of time to talk about this.
Right.
In a quick summary, just to appease the the follower of the show. I don't want to leave him hanging. So, yes, Locke gets the rest of this season. He probably will get the rest of next season, depending on where we fall in the draft. We were going to also highlight how today's loss impacted the draft stock. But prior to the loss, we were sitting at 15. With the loss, we're at 12 now, which is putting us more in that range to kind of it's right on the fringe of maybe getting back into the top 10, where we could get one of those top tier quarterbacks with the Zach, what is it? Zach Wilson. That's like the Zach
Mm-hmm.
Wilson, Trey Lance kind of field. I mean, Trevor Lawrence was probably going to go number one no matter what.
Right. And Justin Fields is probably going to be a top 5 guy,
Yeah,
I
top
would
five. I
think,
mean, you never know
depending
with
on what
quarterbacks.
teams
They
are there.
drop
So,
things.
yeah.
Yeah, things maneuver. Do I think he deserves next season? No, I don't. I've been a critic of Locke since the beginning. I hope the best for the guy. Like I tell everyone, I bought his jersey. I'm trying to buy into the hype, but with his current footwork and some of his mechanic stuff, um, and even his mentality, it just doesn't seem like it's there. When I think about mechanics, I think about something that he spent like 18 years learning this craft. It's like an electrician learning how to do his job for 18 years, and then you tell him it's all wrong, and you have to start over.
Right.
He's gonna always fall back into his old tendencies of how he was taught. Same thing with Drew Locke's footwork. We could beat him. We could beat it till like a dead horse and say this is how it's got to be. But we're gonna always see him fall back into these tendencies, and that's where we see these constant mistakes. Same thing with mentality. We gave him a whole sort of quite a bit of time on IR last year, watching, being in the VI room, learning how to identify pressure, set protection, make the initial read. Yes, it's not game time. I get that argument, but it's literally like a step-by-step learning module for him. He should have been able to retain some of that, and we failed to see that.
And,
I'm going to continue to hope for the guy, but the more I think about it, I think Elway's going to sign a free agent. He's going to find it. He's going to go find his vet quarterback. I heard on the radio today that it seems like that's kind of the belief around here as well. So
yeah.
I don't know.
I've seen Matt Stafford's name thrown around, and that the Broncos should, go to the Lions and offer him second round pick,
It's way too high.
And bring. And I agree it is too, but I think at this point, the Broncos are desperate and they may have to overpay unless we just want to go into next season,
The name to watch, in my opinion, right now is Sam Darnold.
Right.
You got to keep an eye on Sam Darnold. Is he a good? I think he's got short in the stick in New York. I don't know how good he'd be here. I don't know if a change of scenery is necessarily going to correct his issues. He's more mechanically sound. He's a smarter quarterback than what Locke is. But I mean, the Jets is where you go to die as a quarterback. So
it definitely is. So it definitely a place for quarterbacks to die. And who knows, maybe Sam Darnold does flourish somewhere outside of New York City. I agree. You and I have had this conversation before. We don't see the improvement from Drew Lock, week to week that you would expect to start seeing now. Everybody keeps saying, well, he's just like a rookie. And no, he's not, and you've got rookies who are showing progress throughout their season. So we can't use that excuse for Drew Lock anymore. You can't use the excuse that, oh, he's on a second coordinator. Oh, he's a rookie. And, you should at least see some improvement week to week. And you don't on some of like the mechanical issues that you said, and those are hard to fix.
Yeah, very difficult to fix. As for free agents, it's really too early for me to dive into it. I mean, it would be more likely to see a quarterback obtained via trade. like a Matt Ryan or a Matt Stafford, Sam Darnold. That would be more the route I think Elway would take this time, just because there's a lot of cap issues. With trades, you can maneuver dead cap hits and things like that. So I would say let's hold off on that till we see where we're at the end of the season. Because I mean, we could be talking more in the lines of who are we going to select in the draft, or who's the potential trade candidates. Let's just see how that progresses. But just to name off a couple of my top three would probably be Matt Stafford, Matt Ryan, and Sam Darnold as potential targets if
Yeah.
that's the route Elway decides to go.
Right. And I would have to agree with those three names. I think out of everyone, that would be the three that Elway would pursue. I don't think Elway's going to pursue an older vet. And I don't even know. I've heard some people talk about, well, just bring somebody and sit Drew Lock down and have him learn. Well, I don't even know if that's really the option anymore. I mean, maybe Drew Lock sticks around to be the backup, and I think that's what Drew Lock may end up being is a career backup. So I don't know. So, well, David Heelan, the Saints fan, has to show up and no, I'm not going to be the quarterback, David Heelan. So
I'm about 5 inches too short and
yeah,
40 pounds too heavy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that big.
So everybody, it's an abbreviated show. There's no sense in beating a dead horse. I think we discussed it enough. Wednesday, we're going to know a lot more about the ramifications of this whole thing with the Broncos. How much is it going to cost the organization? Is it going to cost them a draft pick? So, and I think this is Cody again.
That's Cody, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Cody. Thanks. And thanks for jumping on and participating tonight. We really appreciate it. So, but everybody, hey, it could be better. It could be worse. So we take on the Chiefs next week. We'll see how things go. We'll see how things progress with our quarterbacks, and we should have some interesting stuff to talk about. Remember, join us Wednesday night, 6:30 or 7. Did we change up to 6:30, Matt?
I believe we moved it up to. I believe we're going to be moving it up to 6:30. We could throw a poll out there and see what you guys think is a better fit. Okay. I mean, I'm flexible and I can make both times work. But we don't want to keep it too late. We also don't want to, infringe on your guys' dinner plans either. So let us know if we'll put a poll up with some times and see what you guys think is a better fit. For sure.
So, and Dave wants me to admit that the Saints are better, and they were better today. I'll say
Saints
that.
are probably one of the best teams, one of the better teams in the NFL right now. They're putting a strong case out there to be the best team in the NFC.
Yeah, they definitely are probably the best team in the NFC. I think there's some AFC teams that would give them a run, like the Chiefs or, maybe Steelers or someone. We'll see. The Saints have a very good team, and yes, they are better than the Denver Broncos, Dave. I'll give you that. So
not for long though. Not for long. Don't get too arrogant there. I'm just kidding.
So. If that's what you needed to help you sleep better tonight, Dave, I hope you can sleep well. So, and hopefully the Saints don't choke in the playoffs like they do every year. Anyway,
throw in the shade, Dave. I like it.
Yeah. So, all right, everybody, thanks for joining us. This David, this Matt. We'll see you Wednesday night. We'll throw a poll out there for War Room Wednesday, where we talk beyond the X's and O's. And if you guys have any topics you want us to talk about, throw them out on Facebook or message one of us, myself, Matt, or Scott Cole at Rocky Mountain Sports Report, and let us know what topics you'd like us to take on. And then, yes, Dave, we did get your Cajun 180. See, he tuned in late. Always a Saints fan. Always late. Late for the party. First thing I did. So, but everybody, hey, seriously, Cajun 180, great product. Check out their website. Cajun180.com, and they got some good Christmas specials and stuff going on right now. If you want to buy like your favorite host or co-host at the Rocky Mountain Sports Report, some seasoning packages, just PM me. I'll give you my address where to send it. So, all right, everybody. We will talk to you Wednesday night, and everybody have a great night. Watch some football. Got a good game tonight, the Bears and Packers. Do you have a prediction on that one, Matt?
Packers are going to win. I haven't done enough research to give you a score, but I say Packers at least by 10.
Yeah, I think the Bears are in a mess with quarterback situations, sort of like
They're about
we
as
are.
bad as we are.
Right. So, all right, everybody, have a good night. Football Monday night, football Tuesday night, War Room Wednesday night, and then back to football on Thursday. So, all right, have a great night, Matt. I will talk to you later. Thanks for
All right.
being on tonight.
No worries. We'll see you guys later.
All right, bye.
All right.